hoping you forget that you did that.
I always wake up the same time every day.
No, you don't. All right, good morning. We'll call meeting to order. Start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, thank you. All right, let's get started here. Welcome, everyone. We'll go to the approval of the minutes from the last meeting, which was September 20th.
I looked those over and didn't see anything. I'll move we approve the minutes.
Second.
Okay. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, thank you. All right, so we'll do reports, oral and written communications. Start with stormwater. There he is, James.
I get to be the spokesperson for this. This is just a report to let the board know that the city received an award recently on a project that we did that was tied to our stormwater utility and our MS4 compliance program. We had an erosion problem down on Beyer Farm Trail that was impacting the wetlands, impacting our trail system, and the stormwater utility worked with KCH and others to put together a program that would address the erosion concern, but also enhance from an opportunity of water quality. We ended up with a system that was constructed that is a mini amphitheater that can be used as a training opportunity for bringing students out to work at the wetlands. And we wanted the utility wanted to let you guys know that we think we've come a long way with our MS4 program. A few years ago, we really invested heavily in staffing to be compliant with this program. The utility has a couple of staff members in there that are working hard at this. And for me, seeing where the city has come in the last decade or so, this award is a big thing for the city, because we went from just being a utility that was trying to play by the rules to starting to set the example of how to do water quality projects, where you're blending multiple facets of a project with water quality in mind. And that's what this award means to me, that we have gotten to that point where not only are we doing it for compliance, but we're improving our area with water quality. So we just wanted, the utility wanted to let the board know that we received this honor. We think it's a big deal for where we're going, because this whole MS4 program is still a growing, ongoing, moving target with the regulators. And our guys do the best they can to interpret what we're being told to do and apply that on a day-to-day basis. And I think they hit a home run on this one. Ryan's here from, him and his staff really coordinated getting this off of the ground. There were a lot of players with it, but we just wanted to let the community know that the utility's making strides and being recognized for it.
No, I appreciate that. There seems to be a lot of, in the public's mind, they really need to understand these great things that the stormwater utility is doing. Obviously, there's a lot of things that we have to do. This is one that I think we went above and beyond. I was able to go out. I saw that project when they formally opened it, and it's a very innovative project. And to be recognized for it, I think speaks well to not only you, but of course Ryan as well, who's probably the brainchild of that. So Ryan, I would ask that you come up and let's maybe present that award to the Board of Works. How's that sound? All right. Here, let's get the Board of Works in here. Come over here, Ryan.
Yeah.
This is you, not me. Hold on to that. There you go.
Yeah.
You know, it's- One more.
Thanks, Ryan. You want to say a few words?
Oh, yeah, real quick. Ultimately, again, James did allude to it, but this was pointed to our direction in fall of 2016 by Mayor Tomer. There was actually a ribbon cutting for educational signage along the Bio Farm Trail throughout the wetlands with the Lilly Center and Parks Department, as well as the Soil and Water Conservation District. And from his directive, he pointed us towards that project. We saw an opportunity to do a water quality project where we're using, again, multiple facets of what we're required to do, as well as just enhancing the quality of life of the area. And from that point on, reaching out to different community members to see if they would actually want to be involved as well, seeing that how that strip of land actually is not our property, but it's KCH's, and we've just extended our Parks and Recreation facility and maintain that to a point where we can utilize it for future educational projects or even programs. We're actually adding educational signage along the whole strip there come this fall or hopefully next spring. But then also the directive of the mayor pointing us towards it, as well as the Board of Works discernment looking at the actual contracts going into it, allowing us to go forward for this project is we're thankful for Stormwater Utility to be able to do that with your guys' discernment. And then also with the Parks Department being able to manage it and adding that to one of their facilities is good as well, so.
Yeah, great. Well, I appreciate it. I wish we had a picture of that because you have to kind of see it to understand what was involved and what went into it. And you know, maybe I'd ask you to come back to the council meeting Monday night and just give a brief summary of the project and maybe bring the award along, but more importantly, a picture so that the community can understand exactly what happened. But like I said, I know it's not all glamorous when in the world of stormwater, but this is a really neat project. So thank you very much.
Thank you for your time.
And it was a great summary here with the pictures of before and after and all that. Good job on that.
So I've got another, just basically communication. During the last billing cycle for the wastewater utility, we sent some bills and some letters out to some of the customers, informing them that the department was rebilling them for back billing them for the errors that were created by our software vendor back in 2018. And I just want those to know who received those letters that a year ago this board voted to not create that back billing and for the need for that. And we stand by that decision, but we've been made aware of certain potential bond legal things that we have to look at and to maybe put an exclamation point on that decision that we made. We may end up taking that to the council. So I just want to make those that have called about that billing, we want to let them know that we are going to stand by what we had voted on a year ago, and that was that we would not expect those underbills to be repaid. But again, I think it's a little bit more complicated as we have moved forward with that, and there's a real possibility we may have to take that to the council, like I said, to put an exclamation point on that. Anything to add?
Nothing.
Okay. All right. So no unfinished business. Let's go into new business. Scott, Chief? Opening of sealed bids for our 2021 fuel pricing.
Yes, sir. So I have not seen what has been submitted to this point. I'm assuming our,
I'm opening it right now. Hope you didn't see it. But we only received one.
And again, this is for 2021.
yes, it's 2021, so my assumption is Lasses Brothers, which is our current fuel provider.
The bid spec, 78,000 gallons of 87 octane unleaded at $2.03 per gallon.
203.
203. It's pretty much the rest of the details would be a continuation of the program that we have undertaken or have been involved with for the last 4 years, 3 years.
Yeah, maybe 4 years.
So yeah, it's Lasses Brothers. They're the only bidders. And again, their bid was $2.03.
That price is lower than our 2020 agreement.
Our 2020 is 207.
Actually, is it 207?
207.
207.
So this year, we're paying
I want to say 192.
under $2 this
Yeah.
year, 207 next year. So if the board, if you feel that we should approve this, would be for 2021, it would be $2.03. Do you have a recommendation on the bid?
Yes, I would say for, obviously as a department head, for budgeting purposes, it does make it easier to have an idea. We have an idea how much fuel we're going to use, certainly nice, but to us, with what we've experienced, over my career, the fuel prices are so volatile. To get locked in and know that we're going to be okay moving forward for the next couple of years is great. So
Okay.
my recommendation would be to move forward with that.
Okay. So you would recommend that we take action today?
Well, I think obviously the 203 is the most important part of that, but I think you might want to take time to review the entire
Right.
agreement and vote on approving it at the next Board of Works so that we can make sure all the details are conform with what they've done in the
We
past.
can't wait because of the volatility, the price would change.
Well,
If
maybe
could-
we can have you look at it and bring it
Yeah,
back up at the
I
end
believe
of
she
the
put us on
meeting.
the agenda at the end as well. I'm assuming that's what that's for. So
Okay.
If
Yeah,
James and
so-
I could look at it under advisement and then report
Yeah, I
back.
just ask that you look
Yep,
at it and make
perfect.
sure all the other details are what we want them
So
to
we
be as
have to
well.
react quickly on this.
Yes.
All right. Thanks, Scott.
Thanks.
We'll call you back up at the end then. All right. We've got some sealed bid openings. Item number 2 for a lift station in the tech park. This would be a grinder pump system. And we've got, looks like
2 bids.
2 bids received.
This one is from HRP Construction.
All right, so the base quote is given at $132,000, $132,750.01, $132,750.01. And that was, I'm sorry, who was the bidder on that?
HRP.
You got it? HRP Construction, Inc.
HRP Construction.
All right?
This bid is from G&G Hauling.
G&G Hauling and Excavating. And the unit price base is $116,288, 116,288.00. All right. That's just a copy. Okay, so I would assume you want to take these under advisement and award them at the next meeting? Is that correct? Is there a motion?
So moved. Second.
Okay, motion's been made to take these under advisement and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right.
Can I have those bids back so we can?
All right, item number 3 is the parking facility lease with Phil and Maxine Harris. This is a parking lot lease that we've had for many years. Price has remained the same. Let's see here. Monthly installments, $18,000, it's $750 per month for the lot lease.
It's a year-to-year lease, then.
2 year.
2 years.
2 years.
Questions?
No, I'll move to approve the lease agreement.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those Those opposed? All right. And then, as well as the parking facility lease agreement with Stephen and Carla Harris, that would be again, the same amount. I think that's a lot across the street, adjacent to the professional building. And that's for $16,800 a year or $700 a month. I believe this is a 2-year lease as well, correct?
It is.
Yeah.
I'll move to approve that lease agreement.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right. All right, item number 5. Justin, you're going to present pay app number 5 for the Lincoln Neighborhood Sidewalk Project.
Yeah, so I've submitted for your approval pay application number 5. This is to Troyer Group for the preliminary engineering phase of the Lincoln Sidewalk Project. It's an ongoing project that will extend up until 2021, 2022. It's a 80-20 grant with NDOT.
I'll move to accept.
Okay.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right. Just want to remind everyone, this is a reimbursable grant. It'll be coming out of the Edit Professional Services, but will 80% be reimbursed back into that. All right. Justin, you're also up for the Lucerne Amphitheater.
Yeah, so
Invoice number 4.
The second item I have is the final payment for phase 1 of the Lucerne Amphitheater project. So it is almost completed. There'll be one more row that will have to be completed later on, but this is the final payment for that phase 1 of that project. So
Okay.
really excited about that, and we're hoping it's going to get some good use next year. So.
All right. Questions?
No, I'll move to approve the pay application.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right. Lynn, are you clear where that money is coming from? It says maintenance fund.
Park department maintenance.
It's park maintenance, so it's
Yeah.
park department. Okay, just making sure. All right.
Is that a quiz, like a pop quiz?
No, I was kind of looking at the cover letter, and I knew you knew, Lynn. And I knew Larry knew.
Yeah.
All right. All right, Jeremy, a little bit larger project, the Airport Industrial Sewer Park. Looks like there's a change order.
Yes, this is the second change order. The first change order was presented a month or so ago. That included some additional pipe work. This change order is for some additional pavement work, as also for a connection for the possibility of a tornado siren to be put out by the new lift station that's being constructed. You have roughly $76,000 in additional pavement modifications for Bell and Cessna. Going into the design, we knew there may be some areas where we would have to address some additional pavement work, but rather than trying to guess what those areas were, we were just planning on, once the construction started, seeing what areas needed some additional work. Knowing Bell and Cessna needed to, we met with HRP, went over some options, and increased the pavement amount and thickness that was going to go in to those portions of roads. Those are probably the two portions of roads within that industrial park that needed the most work. So that's what this change order is mostly addressing. And then there's a little bit additional work for some wiring for a tornado siren.
Okay. I know this is relatively small amount in the grand scheme of this entire project. I think we're required to not exceed a certain percentage of change orders in a project, and with this one, we're not even close to that.
No, because this project's $6 million and it's 20%, you can't exceed 20. But the other thing with the additional work is that it can't be unforeseen.
Right.
So most of the tornado siren would not be unforeseen. That is additional work. The road work, the asphalt, additional asphalt was based on HRP coming to us saying, there's no way we can guarantee that this road will be still in place after we do our work. It was in such bad repair that once they started the excavation for the pipe work, they were afraid the rest of the road would just fall apart. So in order to address that, we looked at different options. And for the most part, having been out there, the road area after they went through, there wasn't much asphalt in that section. So a lot of these additional change orders is unforeseen work, so it wouldn't count towards the 20% anyhow.
And that's a very important distinction. I know we've had those discussions before. The one was unforeseen, and that's really making that determination. And we, like you said, we knew that up front.
Yeah, the tornado siren isn't an add-on. That's
Right.
not something we could say it was unforeseen. We're saying, hey, while we're out here, why don't we add some wiring to accommodate that tornado siren?
Right, and it's obviously, we're well within the 20%,
Yeah.
so that's not an issue. Okay, thank you, Jeremy, I appreciate it. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved. Second.
Any further discussion or questions on those changes? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right. Thank you. Chief, I think you're back up for the Drug Task Force MOU.
Yes, so we're asking, as I think, as everybody's aware, the community's aware that the Warsaw Police Department has been participating with the Kosciuszko County Sheriff's Department, the Indiana State Police, Winona Lake, and a unified drug task force. It's been in effect maybe approximately 6 months. This is an official document to where we can enter into an MOU, so establish this entity. Basically officially establishes the governing body and the equitable sharing formula. And basically the purpose of the unit, and that we are independent contractors, that we are our employees, so the City of Warsaw employees are being assigned to the unit. They're still City of Warsaw employees. Just ask the board accept the memorandum as proposed, and this document was created in partnership with the prosecutor's office.
Chief, does this specify the number of participants that we are committing?
This does not. That's going
Okay.
to be solely a decision by the City of Warsaw.
It's just the general, the framework of the organization.
Correct.
Okay.
It, establishes that if you have a assigned member, then you are part of the governing body. So, and that is why Winona Lake is also a part, because they have an officer assigned to the unit.
Okay. What do you, is it reasonable to ask what you assume will be our commitment as far as?
Well, at this time, we have 2 officers assigned, and I think that it's only reasonable that we would look to increase our staff members in the future, as I believe the Sheriff's Department is looking to. Just all a matter at this point of filling spaces and manpower. But,
Okay. All right.
I will say, on a side note, that they did just make an arrest in the City of Warsaw last night. I think they're working on a press release at this time, but multiple types of drugs were taken, firearm, and so they're making an impact. We're seeing it in our community.
So again, this is signed by the prosecuting attorney, sheriff, Warsaw PD chief, Winona Lake PD chief, and then the Indiana State Police.
Correct. So all I ask is if, I believe it's placed on there for you to sign, and then once the other entities have all signed, we'll provide that to the prosecutor's office, and I believe he'll be able to produce a digital format that can, but we'll get the finished document that's signed by all parties on record with the Warsaw City.
Anything else you want to share on this particular MOU that is important for us to know?
No, I mean, it hits on, obviously, the goals and objectives, and those are obviously very, very important, because it's the primary purpose of this unit is to effectively target and disrupt illegal distribution of narcotics in our community. And we all know that we have the same problem as most communities around this country. Hopefully this unit will make an impact, and we're seeing some positive returns, but I think this document's going to be very important. It's important to have a governing body when you have so many different entities involved, And communication is imperative, and this will really allow for that. I believe we're going to be meeting at least quarterly as a governing body and receiving stats and understanding of how the unit's the success. And this does incorporate us with the prosecutor's office, and that's very important. And like I said, he was the one who basically drafted this document, Prosecutor Hampton, and his office is a big part of the unit as well.
All right.
Related to that, I appreciate the efforts in doing this. The bottom of page 6, I'm not a lawyer, the layman in me, the 3 become 1, the 1 or 3, policy and procedure, and then disciplinary process. I red flagged that, the layman in me. It says that there's a policy and procedure manual, and then there's infractions, misconduct in the disciplinary section. Just the layman, I'm wanting to be comfortable with that, and I'm
Right, well,
hoping-
as of
okay.
now, that we're still waiting on the SOPs of the Net 43, which we do not have those.
Okay.
And once I do have those, I can certainly provide those to you. But the way that, and I'm reading this again, but the way that we have set this up is that since we are the employer, we will be handling any and all potential disciplinary actions through each individual department. Those SOPs are going to direct any disciplinary actions to the employer. So the Net 43 supervisor is not going to have the authority, if that's what, is that what you're asking?
No, again, I really didn't quite understand everything I was looking at. It's just, I red flagged it, and I wanted to make sure that our legal
Right.
and HR is, and you, more importantly, are obviously you are, and with Hampton, I appreciate it. I just-
And I did run it through our legal.
Yeah, Dan Hampton and Chief Whitaker sent this to me a while back, and I think our conversations me and Chief Whitaker had is he is waiting on the SOPs from
Okay.
Net 43, but I think by all accounts, the combined agencies are pretty happy with who's the unit commander right now. I think he's got a lot of experience, and they're doing a pretty good
Correct.
job
And
from what I hear.
The section that you're referring to, so it says shall be communicated by the unit commander to the officer's respective agency. So it's just going to be the current unit commander and referring it to the office, to our agency. Their SOP will direct them that that's what they're going to do. So,
I know it's not easy, and we talk cooperation, work together, and man, this is not only a good faith effort, but you're doing it, and greatly appreciate it. And I know it's complex, I don't understand all of it, but that was just one of my, as I was reading through it, I thought
Sure.
I'd ask. So I appreciate your patience with me, and thanks for responding to my question. Yeah.
No, I think that's a very important question,
Yeah.
and that's good clarification, that
Yeah.
discipline will stay within the unit of those involved.
correct. And as far as assignments too, that's solely going to be upon the agency to determine who's assigned into that unit.
Okay.
Independent agencies, I should say.
All right. George, anything to add?
No,
Okay.
I think I'll make a motion to approve the memorandum of understanding.
So I'll second that, thank you.
All right. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Chief, thanks for all your work on this.
Thank you.
Thank
Chief
you.
Whitaker, don't run away after the meeting either, because you have to sign this as well, okay? Thanks.
All right. Wastewater, SRF. Looks like a claim.
Yeah, there's several. The first one was for the NV grant services. That's for the plant. That's the one that certifies the payrolls for the SRF requirements within the loan.
Questions?
No.
Is there a motion approved?
So moved.
Second.
Further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, item 10.
This is the first one for Wessler. It was a form that has to be filled out ensuring our asset management program's up to date. I believe Lynn received a copy of it, but then Gary has all the documentation, so he filled the form out.
This is for $360 for those services.
Yes.
All right, questions?
No, I'll move to approve.
Second.
Further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right. Item number 11,
This is another one for Westler. This was for the plant expansion, engineering, ongoing engineering, and construction oversight.
Questions?
No, I'll move to approve.
Second.
Further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Item 12, this is to Kokosing.
This is pay app number 7 to the contractor, Kokosing. It's been reviewed by the engineers and within our department, recommending payment.
Questions?
I'll move to approve the pay application.
Second.
Further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Brian, can you just give us a little continued update on progress?
Sure, it's moving along, really seems like rapidly. They're still pouring quite a bit of concrete. They're getting ready, they assembled the lid and for the one digester, so they're moving along. They're pretty much on schedule. They've lost 8-10 days with the wet spring we had, but they're moving along.
Well, you're happy, and it looks like the engineers are happy they're getting the work done, and they're happy they're getting paid, so. All right, well, thank you. I guess you're still up for sewer rehab.
First one is for Westler for their services for the rehab project. They've been in town, wrapping up a few. Selge is in town doing a few spot repairs. This project's scheduled to be finished middle of November for all the lining work.
Okay. And the amount of that is $6,082.04, correct?
I'll move.
Well, the pay
Oh.
application doesn't have the 4 cents. We have to
Yeah.
round up or down, so. it's just-
SRF has to be whole dollars, so.
Oh, all right. I didn't know that.
Silly.
They don't want pennies, huh?
Nope.
All right.
I'll move we approve the pay application.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, item 14, another SRF pay app.
This payment's to in situ form. It's for the small 2 package that the second package we had put out.
Is this lining or replacement?
This is lining.
Lining, okay,
The replacement's completed besides spot repairs at this point.
good. All right, questions?
No, I'll move to approve.
Is there, go ahead.
Second.
Further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? So Brian, again, a little summary of that sewer rehab, where we're at with, again,
Well,
replacements,
we put
small
out
and
the
large
4
diameter lining.
packages. We had the replacement, the large diameter, and the 2 small diameters. The replacement and large diameter completed. The 2 small should be finished middle of November.
Okay. All right, that was a long project.
It is, but
Yeah.
we're getting close to the end finally.
Very good. All right, thank you very much. I know that's a lot of work, and with
ready
the
to
state's
see some of
assistance,
it.
I know there's a little bit more paperwork involved, so, but we appreciate their savings as well, so. All right,
Yep, thank you.
thank you. All right. Jennifer, new hire and change in payroll report. Doesn't appear that,
Right, last week we asked for permission to hire the replacement for the park department, and her name is there, so that's kind of a double do. And Justin Lewis, next Board of Works, I believe, is going to be sworn in as a non-probationary officer, so we just want to get ahead of the payroll paperwork. And Mark is going to be promoted to a carpenter at the park department.
okay. Questions?
I move to approve.
Second?
Further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right. We've got a travel request, and I think we've got a walk-in travel request as well. Nick, you want to bring that up? I'll have Jennifer go ahead and read that off. Thanks, Nick.
I need a copy.
So the one that you have that's loaded is for stormwater.
And then the walk-in is for,
The walk-in is for Nick, and if I understand correctly, he's going to be,
AIA, right?
They just never get their agenda out until the 1st of October, so it's always scrambling to get it done. I apologize for the walking.
No worries.
And you're driving to it, I see.
In Michigan City, okay. All right. Any questions?
I'll move we approve both travel requests.
Second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right. Scott, you ready to make a recommendation?
Yes, James Emmons and I looked over the bid specifications, and I would make the recommendation that the board accept or award the bid to Lassus Brothers based for 203 for 2021.
All right. Is there questions?
I move to accept.
I'll second that.
Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right. We do have a walk-in. I believe it's been presented to you, and I'm going to have Stacy come up and talk about a nice grant we received, but need to take action on that, so.
I apologize for the paper copy, but about an hour before the meeting this morning, we received a notice from the Department of Homeland Security that we were awarded our grant for the generator. So this is their state Homeland Security grant. We had applied for $50,000 and were awarded the full $50,000 towards a generator. We expect that the generator will be closer to $85,000. The fire territory budgets each year for emergency equipment and generators, and they do not need those funds for this year like they anticipated they would. And so they are going to be paying for that additional amount to cover the full cost of the generator. We are also going to initially purchase the grant part of the generator from that same fire territory fund, and then that will be then reappropriated and reimbursed after we receive the reimbursement from Homeland Security later on. So they'll be doing a transfer to make sure those funds are in the correct appropriation to pay for the generator, and then that $50,000 will come back and be reappropriated at that time. So we're just asking for your acceptance of the grant. We could not wait until the next Board of Works meeting because in the next few days we will receive an electronic form that has to be signed to accept the grant. So we needed to try to get it in today so that we could stay on track with that.
Great news on the full amount, so I'll make a motion we accept the grant.
Second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? I'm going to ask you to stay for just a second, and I want you to talk to the importance of that generator with our server being here located in this building, this project, and this is really gratifying that I know Stacy and Chief Wilson have worked hard to secure this grant, and it's been a process as we've gone through department head meetings. We've identified the importance of having backup power, not only in the event of a thunderstorm, but something potentially far worse with the city server and so forth. And Stacy, go ahead and you can address that.
So we have worked really hard the last couple of years to create a central server network. So everything is tied here to City Hall and pushed out to the departments to really centralize all of our IT and our data. Our internet and everything is also centralized and pushing out to the departments. So when this building goes down with power, after our battery backup runs out after approximately 2 hours, that brings down all of the other departments as well, which is an issue, especially for emergency services, wastewater plant, and things like that that are critical during emergency times. So this generator will allow us then to have the wastewater department come. They will get it hooked up. The building has been rewired to support a generator now. So this will be a dedicated generator for City Hall when that happens. It is also towable though, so that we can move it off-site if need be. So if something happened to this building, we could move it off-site and still tie it in and still support our system as needed with that. So it gives us flexibility as well. But we've had some power outages where prior to the wiring being completed to support the building, we were cutting it close on departments going down and waiting on NIPSCO to restore the power. So this will give us the assurance that we can continue providing our services, not just here at City Hall, but across the city in the event of a power outage or some sort of a disaster. And part of the intent of this grant as well was to kind of develop City Hall as an emergency operations center, assuming that this building is not the one that is directly impacted. And that's something that Homeland Security really encourages communities to do, is to identify an emergency operations center that you can establish when there's a community emergency going on. And this building has a good structure for that with the, the clerk's office, the mayor's office, meeting space, our server system being located here. And so it really just plays into that as well.
Okay. Chief, anything to add on the EOC? Thank you, Stacy.
Our county EMA has an emergency operations center in the basement of the Justice Building. If that's overrun, or if there's an issue there, the way this building was designed with your council chambers for financial, with the clerk's office being able to be right here in the same location, and securing the second floor for law enforcement, for fire, for street department, and having a lobby that you can use for a press release area, this building really fits that request. So if we were to have something that was drastic in only our community, or if it was large scale, where the county's working out of the EOC, we'll be able to communicate through to them. If we're still standing, we'll have the power here, our servers here, but it gives all the agencies and department heads with the council a place to locate and to work out of.
Great, thank you very much.
Yes.
And this was a pretty competitive grant. I know you were pretty involved in that. We were one of, how many to receive the full amount?
There was 146.
146
We looked-
applicants.
The state looked at a large number. I believe the year before it was like 80-some thousand, or 80, around 80, and it almost doubled. Senior Advisory Committee that was appointed by the director that we sat on, there's a scoring system that they go through, actually before it even gets to the SAC, that we don't even know who is being awarded. It's all done by a scoring system at state level, off of federal funds.
All right.
I suspect the previous city hall wouldn't have worked out very well to have
No, it would not. Yeah. So, a good need, this structure located where it's at, and us being able to all work together underneath one roof is wonderful.
All right, thank you. And thank you all. I appreciate both your help on that. That's a $50,000 grant worth the kudos, and I know it was a lot of work, so I appreciate that. All right, any special claims, Lynn?
I do, but I'm so sorry, I forgot to make you guys a copy. It's actually for the payment of the amphitheater project that Justin talked about earlier.
$55,000. Stacy, you don't need any signatures on this today, correct?
No.
Okay,
We will be receiving something
electronically, all right,
that mayor will sign.
thank you. All right, special claims.
I'll move to approve that special claim.
Second. All right, any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The claims docket?
See anything? I didn't see anything of further questioning, so I'll move to approve the claims docket.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, did I miss anybody? Any other items to come before the board this morning? Okay. Questions or comments? Motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All right. Thank you.